Tonight, Scott Morrison's stunning come-from-behind victory.
How good is Australia? I have always believed in miracles.
Bill Shorten's dream of becoming Prime Minister shattered.
Labor's next victory will belong to our next leader.
The government's win sends shockwaves through the state. And police deem the shooting death of a Ravenswood man accidental.
Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Scott Morrison has defied the odds, leading the coalition to victory and is on track to secure a majority in the House of Representatives. Calling his win a miracle, Mr Morrison promised to get back to work. Bill Shorten conceding defeat, announcing he'll step down as Labor leader. As the Labor Party tries to make sense of its shock loss, Scott Morrison is basking in his unexpected win.
Told he didn't have a prayer.
I have always believed in miracles.
This good. Mark Riley, 7 News.
While the coalition savoured victory, Labor has been left shell-shocked and shattered by its loss. The party has vowed to analyse the result, rethink and reorganise. Top of the agenda, finding a new leader, with Bill Shorten conceding his time is up.
Bill Shorten's 2019 bid to govern.
He's the reason why I joined the Labor Party.
Tim Lester, 7 News.
Political editor Mark Riley is in Canberra. Mark, how did just about everyone get the predictions so wrong?
Yeah, poll acts by the polls, Rachel. Perhaps this will end Australia's obsession with those opinion polls. But the parties missed it too. Not even the Liberals were expecting this result. They were hoping for minority government negotiating with the crossbench at best. I think what happened, though, was that the coalition took the template of Labor's Mediscare campaign from the last election and turned it back on them. Well, last night, Scott Morrison won the unwinnable one. Rachel.
It was certainly a big night for him. Thank you for that, Mark. Mark Riley there in Canberra. Well, the government's win sent shockwaves through Tasmania, with the seat of Braddon falling to the Liberals. Bass is also expected to change hands, with Liberal candidate Bridget Archer leading on a wafer-thin margin of just over 400 votes.
Tasmania's newest MP enjoys a swing in his favour. Former soldier, farmer and now politician, Gavin Pearce was sticking by his winning slogan.
The Tasmanian way of life that we've all grown accustomed to.
Saying he was disappointed he hadn't been successful, but happy the party's legacy would live on. His likely replacement is a familiar face, but Jackie Lambie also shied away from the cameras, although don't expect that to last for too long. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
In southern Tasmania, the results played out largely as expected, with members in Franklin, Lyons and Clark keeping their seats. But with the campaign focused on the north, concerns already being raised about whether the south will have to fight for its share of future funding.
Celebrating a convincing victory, Independent Andrew Wilkie voted back into Clark. Today, he's already ruled out doing any deals with the government to get it over the line.
If the government should need my support on any issue, on any bill or motion, or the opposition might need my support in the chamber, I'll weigh it up and vote on its merits.
Later, Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Tony Abbott was one of the biggest losers in this election, suffering a 20% swing at the hands of a political novice. The former PM revealed he feared for months that his long political career was over, but he refused to quit.
Zali Steggall, the independent candidate who mustered the support of an electorate to make a change. The Olympian turned barrister, now a Member of Parliament.
This is a win for moderates with a heart.
And as a new political movement swept through the seat of Warringah, it brought an end to a political era. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott toppled.
I'd rather be a loser than a quitter.
Abbott admitting he saw it coming.
Now, I have to say that once we had the result in the Wentworth by-election 6 months or so back, I always knew it was going to be tough here in Warringah.
His election event was held at the Manly Leagues Club, where invited media was locked out before and after his speech.
To the day's other news now, and police say a Ravenswood man who died in his mother's arms from a gunshot wound was the victim of an accident. Timothy Matthew Gardner was handling a homemade firearm when it discharged into his chest. The 29-year-old walked to his mother's home nearby where he died. Police are reminding the public that homemade firearms are illegal and highly dangerous. A report will be prepared for the coroner. A man will face court after an alleged armed robbery in Latana last night. At 6:30, a man walked into the United Petroleum station on the Brooker Highway and demanded money. A staff member activated an emergency alarm and the alleged offender fled the scene. Today, officers charged a 33-year-old Newtown man. Police are thanking the public for their assistance. Stay with us. Still to come in our broadcast tonight, terrifying vision from the heart of the storm as tornadoes batter America's Midwest. Arnie drop-kicked while taking a selfie, how the Hollywood tough guy responded. And thousands of runners test their fitness in the 47th City to Casino Fun Run. Welcome back, everyone. In an Australian first, Tasmanian children older than 10 are now able to receive a flu vaccination from a pharmacist in a bid to take pressure off our hospitals as winter approaches. Previously, pharmacists could only deliver the vaccinations to people aged over 18. The change is part of the government's overdue winter demand management plan. Released today, it also includes additional hospital beds, a community rapid response service and better engagement with aged care homes.
We just have seen flu come into the country earlier and be at higher levels. We expect flu to circulate all year, every year, but at the moment it's much higher than we would normally see.
Overseas now, and there have been terrifying scenes in America's Midwest with dozens of tornadoes wreaking havoc. Luckily, there have been no reports of any fatalities, but millions of people remain under threat from extreme weather, spawning the destructive twisters.
Wow, look at that! Nature's menace came fast and with plenty of power. A series of severe storms triggering an outbreak of twisters.
It's the oldest fun run in Tasmania, and today thousands turned out keen to test their fitness in the 47th City to Casino. The record-breaking race saw the first 11-kilometre runner crossing the finish line in just over 32 minutes.
Thousands of runners taking over the streets of Hobart. The City to Casino Fun Run attracting athletes and novices from across the state for the 47th year.
Oh, good luck to them. Well, Tom Cooper will join us for more of the day's sport news later in our bulletin. With Richmond holding on to their spot in the top 8 with a win over the Hawks. Glenorchy's impressive TSL season continuing at North Hobart Oval. And the Southern Huskies wow the Launceston crowd with a thrilling win over the Giants. Tom will have those stories for you shortly. But first, after the break, we take a look at the day's top stories. And then cowardly teen joyriders leave a woman behind after crashing into a restaurant. And a cancer survivor's inspiring journey, walking more than 2,000 kilometres with some help from a Hollywood heavyweight. Welcome back, everyone. These are some of the stories making headlines tonight. Scott Morrison beats the odds, leading the coalition to a victory that defied all predictions. The race on for Labor's top job as Bill Shorten steps aside after losing the unlosable election. The government's win sends shockwaves through Tasmania. And police deem the shooting death of a Ravenswood man an accident. A 60-year-old man has been denied bail, accused of stabbing his wife to death in Sydney last night. The 47-year-old victim was found just metres from the emergency department at the Prince of Wales Hospital where she worked. The man was charged with murder. A night out has turned into a nightmare after a stolen ute ploughed into a restaurant. After coming close to running down those inside, the cowardly joyriders then made off, leaving one woman behind.
This is the aftermath of a teen joyride gone off the rails.
It was like a really loud screech and then crash.
Well, sport is next with Tom Cooper. Good evening, Tom. The final siren couldn't come quickly enough for the Blues.
Good evening, Rach. Yeah, the side had a horror day out against GWS, so I'll have more on that very shortly. Also coming up, the Roos fall painfully short at Blunston Arena, and American Brooks Koepka on track for back-to-back PGA titles. Welcome back. Richmond has moved back within striking distance of the top four after a comprehensive 36-point win over an injury-depleted Hawthorn. Dustin Martin was back to his best with 37 disposals as 3 goals to Tom Lynch and Josh Caddy secured victory.
As Clarko conjured up his master plan, James Sicily latched onto Tom Lynch.
The Swans withstood a late fight back from the Kangaroos to post their 3rd win of the AFL season in Hobart last night. A 7-goal second term helped the Swans build a match-winning lead. North Melbourne kicked 4 straight majors in the final term to close to within 5 points. To the TSL, and Glenorchy have held off a gutsy Demons outfit at North Hobart Oval, with the Pies stepping things up in the second half to record another convincing win for the season. Overnight, Kingborough were kept to just 3 goals for the whole match against a rampant North Launceston at Utah's Stadium, as the Bombers sent the Tigers home with their tails between their legs.
Off the back of a strong showing against the reigning premiers, North Hobart applied the same level of pressure against the Pies, with Tom Reeves snapping one home in front of the sticks.
American Brooks Koepka is on track for back-to-back titles at the US PGA Championship. His 7-stroke lead is the largest at the 50-hole mark in the tournament's history. Aussie Adam Scott fell out of contention. He sits tied for 8th heading into the final day.
Adam Scott was unable to pick up where he left off, and while there were some highlights...
Oh, Adam Scott.
Rach, the biggest story to come out of the weekend, I finally got a perfect round in the footy tipping.
Well done, Tom. Congratulations. Good effort. Thanks for that. Well, now we'll have a preview of what's coming up on Sunday night. Here's Mel Doyle.
Thanks, Rachel. Tonight...
It's irresponsible. It's voyeuristic.
Married at first lie. I really believed them. Only on Sunday night, true stories after house rules.
Thank you for that, Mel. Well, stay with us. Jackie will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening. 15 was a popular temperature today across Hobart, Burnie and Devonport Launceston, reaching 14. Other centres today, 17 in Flinders Island and Friendly Beaches, Lyweenie, Low Head and Strawn reaching 15 and St Helens a high of 19. On the close-up, low-level cloud over the northwest of the state with mid-level cloud moving over the east in the afternoon. On the satellite, a frontal cloud band is moving into a low pressure system over the Bight. Another frontal cloud band is also approaching the southwest coast of WA. Tomorrow, the low has moved south and a cold front will cross the southwest corner of Western Australia. Northwest to northeasterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, increasing to 15 to 25 knots during the day. Swells up to 3 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. Onto the warnings, and a strong wind warning is current for western coastal waters from Low Rocky Point to Stanley. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart and Dover a high of 16, Ouse 14. In the north, showers are developing with a high of 16 across Launceston and Scottsdale. Devonport showers 16. Showers across Burnie and Stanley, Strawn a high of 17. 18 a popular temperature for both Swansea and St Helens, Ross 14. Looking to the 3-day forecast now, Tuesday partly cloudy about the southeast and east, showers elsewhere. Wednesday fine about the east, light showers elsewhere. And finally Thursday fine about the east and central areas, light showers elsewhere. Capital cities Adelaide and Melbourne 20, Perth showers are easing, 24 in Brisbane, and it's looking mostly sunny in Darwin and Broome. And on to current temperatures, Hobart clear 9, Launceston looking clear, and Devonport mostly clear 9. That's all in weather tonight. Back to you, Rach.
Thanks for that, Jackie. Well, before we leave you tonight, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have released new photos from their wedding to celebrate their first anniversary. The photo montage shared on social media gives a rare glimpse inside some of the most intimate moments of the day, including a touching moment of the Duchess with her mother and the signing of the register. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. Good night.